Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy Nate Weitzer, holding it down on the East Coast. And we are jumping into usually our favorite video of the day. We got some player props here for you. Got a couple other videos tonight for you as well. Make sure you check out the Heat and Mavs, as well as those Bucks and Pistons taking on going out in Detroit tonight. But as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, and ideally get an account from both sites because you can really compare and contrast what these player props are at. Got some interesting ones tonight. I'm going to open with an under. I like Harrison Barnes with the Kings visiting the Jazz. We're now looking at nearly a 10-point spread there for good reason. I know the Kings have been road cover machines lately, but not so much in Utah. They've lost 4 straight there by 22.3 points per game. And the Jazz are just a phenomenal home team. They return home after a little road trip, after a loss in Chicago. A little extra rest for them, too. And I think that they will easily take care of business tonight. And Harrison Barnes is a guy you really think of when you think of win versus losses splits. Like if he plays well, if he gets 20-plus points, the Kings are probably in it. But in losses, since 2020, that's a 77-game sample, he's getting 14 points per game with a meek 17% usage rate. And in those last 4 losses at Utah, just 8.5 points per game and 5.3 rebounds per game. Minutes obviously going to be affected if it's a blowout. So I'm looking at under 17.5 points for the most confident bet there. And I think under 26.5 points, rebounds, assists also in play. He's not a guy that piles up a ton of peripheral stats, especially if his team isn't firing on all cylinders against a defense that is really just lights out at home.
Yeah. No, 100%. The defense is lights out at home and has been lights out all season. You know, it's them in Miami right now. It's actually incredibly impressive how close to the Miami Heat Utah is right now in terms of their defensive stats. They're second best in all the defensive categories that matter, just like the Heat are pretty much number 1 in all of them. And it's going to be another tough game for for Sacramento in Utah, who generally seems to get blown out when they play them. Obviously lost all 3 games last year. The plus minus on those 3 was 29 points or so. So it's definitely something that you can feel good about. I mean, the Jazz put up a ton of points against the Kings as well, which is something to look at. But yeah, especially for someone like Harrison, who, like you said, slinks away in these losses where we just sort of don't see him anymore. He's sort of a nice, quiet guy. And when things aren't going the right way, I think he'll probably be sitting by the beginning to middle of the fourth quarter, as this game will be pretty much out of hand at that point. And that's why I'm actually taking a prop for an over, someone on the other side of the ball there, specifically Rudy Gobert. And that the reason I like to talk about Rudy here is just rebounds and how good he is at it. 17 boards a game so far in the early going, which is insane. 4 of those are offensive rebounds, so more than 13 defensive boards a game. And I think he'll be able to just dominate the glass against a Kings team who can't do that at all. They're in the bottom 10 in rebound percentage. They also give up the 3rd most points in the paint. So for Rudy, I'm eyeing either just 15 points and a Utah win with the money line there. That gets you plus 168 at FanDuel. Or if you just like his regular just point total at 13.5, I see no reason not to take that. His boards are at 14.5, which even though he's averaging more than that, is still a little bit scary to me. But easily he's going to get 10 rebounds tonight, especially with the way that Utah is playing defense, giving up 40% from the field to their opponents, second only to the Heat, who are under 40%, which is absurd. But still, Utah on D, Rudy to dominate the paint against a team that doesn't have anybody outside really like Rashawn Holmes, not much too small to deal with Rudy. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about the Stifle Tower tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings struggle to defend the paint, and the Jazz are extremely efficient at home. So, yeah, I could see Rudy getting to those points, even if he only plays 3 quarters. The blowout factor does worry me. But, yeah, to get that blowout, yeah, you're going to have your all-league center probably get to a double-double and maybe get to these numbers. I would maybe just look at the player performance boost you can get for a double-double in a win for Rudy because, again, I think that the Jazz could easily win by 20-plus points in this one.
Yeah.
And speaking of bad at defending the paint, the Lakers somehow given up the second most paint points and third most offensive rebounds this year. So I'm looking at Christian Wood in that game. These teams met on Sunday and combined for just 180 points. So a lot of misses to collect there. And Wood grabbed 13 boards in that one. He's sporting a career best 28% defensive rebounding rate, averaging 12 boards per game in 5 contests against West teams. And you add that all up, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists per game. He's getting 33 PRA against the West on 48% field goal shooting. The young Rockets have plenty to prove as they play the Lakers again, and Wood is their man in the middle. I would guess I would be a little concerned about foul trouble with Anthony Davis, but Davis has been a little bit more of a jump shooter, leaning away from contact a little bit, especially early in the season. He knows he has to stay healthy. So I think Wood stays on the floor. I think he gets double-double, and I would hammer the over on 10.5 rebounds, which is plus 115 on DraftKings right now. As I mentioned, he's averaging 12 in this spot, so why not? Yeah. And a little worse odds, but still a good bet for 31.5 points, rebounds, assists, because I do think he can score down low. Against the Lakers, there's not many other options for Houston down low, and they do have quick guards that are ready to feed Wood to try to keep this game close.
Yeah, and I mean, the Rockets are not a good basketball team. Otherwise, I would really like that 11 points a little bit more. It was the same spread for the Thunder, who are not that bad of a basketball team. Definitely not 11 points worse than the way the Lakers are playing right now. And that's what this bet is about to me. Is you got a young guy trying to prove it. He's going to be hustling. He loves the offensive boards, the way that we talked about. The Lakers are giving up a ton of offensive rebounds a game, like we talked about, third most in the league this year. So the rebounding prop for Christian Wood, where I just need him to out hustle the likes of that veteran Lakers front court. Yeah, I would feel pretty good about that as well. Specifically because of that, you get plus money on just a bet that he's going to get 11 boards. So that's a pretty solid one right there. And then last prop I have for us, Nate, is Grayson Allen. Not a player I love very much. I mean, I don't mind his game, but he went to Duke and he's just pretty annoying, right? With the tripping, whatever. Point of this is I do think he's still a very good basketball player, and it was a very nice pickup for a Bucks team that definitely could use another shooter and ball handler the way he's been playing. And he's been, filling in for that Drew Holiday role at times where they need someone to be able to break other players down off of the dribble at times, or at least be a threat from three to then be able to come into the lane with athleticism. And so in the last 3 that, Drew's been sitting out, he's averaged 15 a game, 5 boards, 1 assist. And those were against some elite defenses in Utah, who we mentioned. Minnesota has actually got the 7th ranked defensive rating, and the Spurs also in the top 15, always going to be good in defense with Pop. And he put up some really good numbers against them. They are not Detroit, who is a very bad basketball team, and although they're managing to stay out of the bottom 10 in defensive rating, they still give up. And as we mentioned in our video about with the Bucks and Pistons earlier, that they're still giving up 43% from 3, which spell disaster for someone like Grayson, who will be waiting for those kickouts from Giannis at times in this one. Yeah, the young LeBron, if you will. But yeah, and really, it's going to be about the fact that there's just nobody else there tonight for the Bucks, especially on the wing without Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. That's 2/3 of your major wing scorers there in general. So someone's got to do it. Grayson Allen to just get 14.5 points tonight, like I said, averaging more than that in the last 3 without Drew Holiday, who is also out tonight. Or if you like 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists, he has been getting in on the boards, getting on the actions there with the boards as well, and could be in line for a few more assists tonight with Chris Middleton not even having the ball in his hands as much as he normally does. So Grayson Allen, I don't know, feel pretty good about that one tonight.
Yeah, and I feel pretty good about George Hill also getting over 10.5 points because he's such a good 3-point shooter. I believe led the league in percentage 2 seasons ago. Now thrust into a bigger role. He knows it's just a spot starter too without Drew. But so he can leave it out there and score against this team. Try to pick up the slack. So that's who I like. He's a guy I root for. I don't necessarily like rooting for Duke players who have a reputation of dirty plays, but that's just me.
No, that's fair. But what I like more than anything is when I win my bets. So we'll be looking to do that tonight with these player props. That is all the time that we have for you guys. Make sure you do check out. We've got a couple other videos for tonight's slate with the Mavs and Heat, as well as the Bucks and Pistons. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page, as we'll continue to be coming back with you guys until we see you next. Happy betting.